What's going on, guys? RGT85 here, and today on the channel we're going to be looking at two different products from a new retro gaming company called Pound. Now, Pound was actually founded by an ex-Hyperkin employee, and they've been releasing some products onto the market. One of them I picked up, and one of them I had sent to me. The first product is an HD link cable for the original Xbox. Now, you might remember the original Xbox did support up to 720p games. There may have actually been a 1080p game or two on the system. I can't really recall, but I know there was a lot of 720p games, so I'm looking forward to checking this out. I've been using component cables for my original Xbox, but obviously it's easier just to use an HDMI cable, so pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing how this performs. And then Ryan from Castlemania Games, good friend of the channel, sent me over their Challenger system, which is a Super Nintendo clone system that allows you to play on your HD television. Of course, we will run this through the test, make sure it plays the games and stuff like that. Both of these products are definitely designed with, you know, a more entry-level retro gamer. They're not high-priced products. You're not going to get super analog NT quality out of this. This isn't going to replace your FrameMeister, but I do feel like there is a marketplace for these things. Some people don't want to deal with different sorts of cables and stuff with the original Xbox. It's definitely easier just to get something like this, and some people don't want to deal with all of these high-end clone systems or FrameMeisters and stuff like that, so they want to know how this performs. So we're going to check out both of these products, see how they perform, unbox them, and then I'll give you guys my final thoughts. So sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's look at some products from Pound.
Hey, RGT85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my God, it's Stevie Richards!
Alright, so first up we're going to take a look at the HD link cable for the original Xbox. Like I said, a lot of original Xbox games do allow for a higher resolution than the standard, standard resolution that was available at the time. And here is the cable. You got a little box in there and there's your HDMI out. And of course the spot where you plug it into your Xbox. So pretty basic, but I mean, it's just a cable, so I'm not really expecting anything too crazy from it. But I am looking forward to checking that out. And next up we have the Challenger set, which is an HD clone console. I seem to be amassing these HD clone consoles. Now this obviously has a Super Nintendo aesthetic to it. Here is the system itself. Definitely has the color scheme of the Super NES. That eject button is really big, but it's really clicky, and I like that. Reset, power, cards, where you put in your cartridge, of course, and it has AV out and HDMI out, so if you want to play it on a standard CRT TV or you want to play it on your HD TV. It does have a 16:9 and a 4:3 switch. Very cool. I do like that because I like to have options like that. And we have controllers. Controller is pretty light, but I kind of like it. It's got a weird shape to it. I wasn't sure how I would feel about the shape of it, but I kind of like it. It contours to your hand pretty decently, and a little lightweight, but the buttons feel solid enough. D-pad, I'll have to check it out and see how it performs. But yeah, comes with an AV cable, of course, HDMI cable, and a power supply. So all of this doesn't really matter if these products don't work well. So first up, we're going to check out the HD cable for the Xbox, then we'll check out the Super Nintendo, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts. Alright, so first up we're going to take a look at Halo 2 with the HD cable for the original Xbox. Of course, Halo 2 is an iconic game. I could not get the story to boot up for some reason, so I'm just kind of meandering around on some multiplayer levels, just trying to get a glimpse of the graphics here. You can see, though, everything looks pretty good. Everything has a nice vibrant color to it. This outdoor area, of course, looks really well done, and, the trees look nice and green, the ground looks good, the browns look brown, the greens look green. So pretty legit. Next up, we're going to play a game that is sort of a guilty pleasure of mine. I don't really know why I play this game, but that is Shadow the Hedgehog, where they gave Shadow a gun and made him like into a badass. I don't know. This game is very silly, but I do find myself playing it from time to time just because of how absurd it is. But once again, you can see that the environments look nice, everything looks good and bright and crisp, which is really what I was looking for in this cable. Obviously, it's not going to upscale things quite like a FrameMeister or anything. It's really just a plug and play solution on how to get your games on your HD television. Now, one thing I did notice is whenever I would play the games on my monitor, it would stretch it to 16:9, but when I was recording the footage, it would default it to whatever the default resolution is. So that is worth noting. When you are playing these games back, it will stretch it to 16:9 unless you have the ability to change that on your television setting, which many modern televisions do have that feature. Now, a game that does support 16:9 and 720p is Scarface, which is a very underrated GTA clone in my opinion. I absolutely love this game. You can see how much money I have earned in this game. I have played this game a lot. I've unlocked all the cars in it, and it's just a very fun game. I'm obviously a big fan of the Scarface movie. Definitely an iconic, gangster flick, and this game was a really fun game that I don't think enough people really got into. It's definitely got enough unique characteristics to make it not a one-to-one GTA clone, but as you can see, this game does run in 720p with 16:9 widescreen, so that is how the footage was recorded, and it looks pretty good in my opinion. Obviously these games are pretty old nowadays. A lot of people are starting to consider the original Xbox to be a retro platform, so it's not going to look like your PS3 or your Xbox One or your PS4 or whatever, but it still looks good. Now, this game, I was very surprised with how good it still looks, and that is the original Ninja Gaiden. Good lord, this game still looks fantastic, and it really looks great playing with this HD cable. This was probably the one game that I actually sat back and I was like, wow, like this looks really good. And of course, this is a fantastic game. A lot of people, didn't really like how it went to the 3D world, but that's just how things were going at the time. Shinobi did the same thing, but this is a fantastic game. Tough as nails, but definitely a game worth playing, and it looks really, really good on these cables. I was definitely very impressed with it. I love all the ninja aspects of the game. You could do a lot like the wall runs and stuff like that, almost like a sort of a Matrix vibe to it, which was very popular at the time. But yeah, you could just see how crisp and fluid everything looks, the lighting, the shadows on the floor and whatnot. Just a fantastic looking game to begin with, and I think that this really shows off the cables in probably the most positive manner, because I was really, really impressed with how this game looked. And of course, it still plays great too. So this is available on the Xbox One Game Pass as well right now if you want to play Ninja Gaiden Black. So definitely cool. I definitely enjoyed the HD cables for the Xbox. Now let's take a look at the Challenger, which is the Super Nintendo clone system. And starting things off, we got to play a little Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Ken thought he was going to get me. Ken really started out strong. He thought he was going to get me, but I obviously play Street Fighter games whenever I get a new clone console because I want to try out the actual controller. Like I said, the actual controller looks pretty weird, and it doesn't feel like all that sturdy, but when you're actually playing, like, it's not bad, honestly. I had no problems with it. If you want to, you can use any Super Nintendo controller with it. It does have the standard Super Nintendo controller slot on it, but I did want to play some Street Fighter to give the D-pad a workout, see how it feels, and honestly, it felt fine. A lot of people I think might be turned off by the aesthetic of the controller itself, but as far as when you actually play the games, it feels fine. So Ken, he didn't really know what was coming. He didn't really know what was going to hit him. He thought he had me after the strong first round, but he didn't. He obviously did not, Ken. Take a seat, buddy. Enjoy your little, go sit on the boat, enjoy the ocean, have some fun. Next up, I wanted to try out the Super FX chip, and I went with Stunt Race Fx, and I'm not really sure why, because I don't like this game. I don't think it's a very good game. I think it's pretty technically impressive because, of course, polygons on a Super Nintendo, but the game just runs so bad. Like, it's just so slow. Even when you hit the boost, it's like you're still moving at a snail's pace. I don't know. Maybe there's a cult following for this game, but I just never really liked it. I just wanted to make sure Super FX chip games did work on the system. They do work on the system. There are better Super FX chip games out there like Star Fox, so maybe play those instead of Stunt Race FX. Next up, we're going to take a look at a Super Famicom game. This is World Heroes on the Super Famicom. This system does play Super Famicom games along with Super Nintendo games, so if you have some Super Famicom games or want to get into Super Famicom collecting, honestly, it's a good time for it. Super Famicom games are much cheaper than their North American counterparts, especially for the more expensive games, and a lot of them have English text, or you could get through the game without any text. I'm terrible at World Heroes, but I think it's a cool looking game. I like this fake bison character here that's just whipping my ass. I don't know, I'm Hanzo, I don't know. I've never really played World Heroes all that much, but yeah, Super Famicom games do work on the platform, so that's a plus. And finally, we have to do a Super Game Boy test because it's the Super Game Boy. It's like the coolest device ever. And yes, the Challenger does play Super Game Boy games. So you can hook up your Super Game Boy and play your Game Boy games on your television. So you're getting 3 systems with it. You got the Super Famicom, the Super Nintendo, and Game Boy games via the Super Game Boy attachment. So all in all, you know, everything worked. Everything seemed pretty decent enough. So we're going to wrap this up. Let's get into my final thoughts on both the HD cable and the system and see if it's something I recommend you guys check out. Alright, so what do I think about these two products from Pound? First off, the HD link cable for the Xbox. I do like this a lot. I thought it was really nice. It's very easy, very plug and play, and it's cheap. So you can hook it up to your HDTV, play around with the settings if you want to do 16:9. It does automatically make everything 16:9, which isn't a big deal because there are a lot of games that support 16:9 on the original Xbox, but you may have to adjust your TV settings to make it go into 4:3 when you're playing on your HDTV if that's the way you preferred. But honestly, I like this. Games like Ninja Gaiden looked really good in my opinion. It looked really crisp and vibrant, and I was really impressed with it. So not a bad product, definitely, you know, a lower end sort of thing, but it's so cheap that you might as well add this into your collection if you play a lot of original Xbox stuff, because it makes everything very easy, streamlined, and plug and play. As far as the Challenger is concerned, it's not a bad system. You know, there's so many Super Nintendo clone consoles on the market now. This one doesn't do anything in particularly better or worse than other consoles. I did notice that you had to have your games pretty clean in order for it to read this. Like Stunt Race Fx was I actually had to clean that cartridge out, but it's nice that it plays Super Famicom games. It's nice that you can play Super Game Boy on it as well, and it works pretty decent. I thought the controller was pretty decent. A lot of people are sort of turned off by the design, but it's pretty comfortable in your hand, and I didn't really have any issues with it. But like I said, there's so many of these on the market now, it's just like a matter of convenience. I guess it depends on where you shop and what sort of price point you're looking for. But as far as what this thing is capable of doing, it's not bad, honestly. It's a pretty solid product. So in all, not bad products. You know, they definitely fill a spot in the marketplace. There's definitely a spot for them. Some people just like cheap stuff to play their stuff on, so pretty decent. I'd like to thank Ryan from Castlemania for sending over the Challenger. Like I said, I did purchase this, but he has all of these products available in his store. If you want to save 10% off, use the coupon code RGTCares. I don't get a kickback. It's literally just me trying to help you save some money, so enjoy that. But yeah, let me know what you think of these products in the comments section down below if you plan on picking up either one of these. And thank you for checking out this video. Be sure to check out other videos on the channel, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Later.